Hi, my name is Mayadari del Sol. I'm a therapist on family and systemic constellations and the founder of Healing Alchemy Formula, a program of transformational experience. We are all looking for balance and harmony in our lives, either in our emotional life, with our relationships, in our physical body, with our health, or in our finances, with our stability. Well, for harmony and balance to happen, it is necessary an order. We need to put in order not only our thoughts, our emotions, and our body, but our soul. It is said that everything is energy and that things happen depending on how we give direction to that energy. For example, our thoughts. Whether you choose to believe that things can go well or not, you will manifest a pleasant or an unpleasant experience. Thought materializes what you think. That's what happens in the mind. Now, that also happens in our physical body. At a cellular level, cells are intelligent. They duplicate our thoughts or our emotions to materialize health or disease in our body. For example, emotions like anger can create a condition like cancer in the body. The universe is resonant to what we think or feel. Likewise, memories can create a resonance that can serve you or limit you. Our experiences can create an imprint in our cellular memory. When we experience pain, suffering, trauma, or fear, a dysfunctional memory gets imprinted at a cellular level, which in consequence will create and materialize more dysfunction in our life. What is relevant to understand here is that these memories won't affect only the person involved, in this case you or me, but can affect also you or mine whole family system. And you might ask, but how can this happen? Well, I used to think that what happened in the past to my ancestors was theirs. That when they died, they took their stories of conflict, fear, pain, or disease with them. Well, the news is that they didn't. What they couldn't resolve back then is still pulsing within us. When an impacting memory happens and it is not resolved, it goes from the imprint at a cellular level to the genetic code that keeps pulsing until someone can resolve it. And it stays in something called a morphic field that holds the resonance of that memory like a programming until someone really comes and resolves it. Isn't that interesting? That the resonance of those memories are read by the new members or descendants of the clan, and they duplicate unconsciously. Not the same, but in similar ways. That's what's happening. Have you thought of that before? The memories of our ancestors keep pulsing at a very deep level in our unconscious. We are carrying many of these unresolved conflicts as we are all connected and belong to a system, to a family system. These may be affecting not only our present, but also what we want to manifest in our life, related to our relationships, our finances, or our health. That is the inheritance of our plan. What happens is that this inheritance is not written on paper, and we don't recognize what it is carrying. That is why we tend to attract experiences that we don't understand why they happen to us. Has it happened to you? Have you ever thought how many generations of memories you are dragging and you still don't recognize what is in there? But not only so bad, we also inherit the strength or the functionality of our clan. For example, if someone in the family was a great business person, maybe one of the descendants will take this strength and will flow naturally with it. It happens too. Okay, let's talk about something that is also important, and it's called life. The life force has the function of reproduction, so life can continue happening. Two energies unite, a male and a female, to create life. From that miracle, you were born. Life itself brought you here throughout two volunteers who agreed to be the channels to help life continue. After birth, life wants to take you to generate more life. When I say life, doesn't necessarily mean to have more children. But for example, we can give birth to new ideas or projects that can help our system. The question here is, how come then we take ways that go away from our purpose? Well, at some point in history, these two energies, the masculine and the feminine, in equilibrium, created life. Then, throughout history, the wars of power began to happen. There were wars, battles, conquest, survival, and unhappiness. As many chapters of our history has shown, such as the Holocaust, the conquest of the white over the native, or the slavery. All these created memories of abandonment, rejection, betrayal, injustice, or humiliation. These memories from our ancestors created a morphic field that is still pulsing in our macro system, and of course in your microsystem, which is your family system, the one you belong to. We are still experiencing the consequences of the unresolved that is reflected in our conflicting relationships, in the illnesses in our body, or the struggling in our finances. We try hard to solve these matters, don't you? Well, on the outside, with no much success. We try and it doesn't happen, right? But what happens here is that we are looking for the reconciliation outside instead of inside. And it should be done inside, in our soul. We got to the point, in our soul. The individual soul has been affected by the collective soul that is hurt and that is actually seeking to heal. That is why we attract experiences that seem difficult, but what happens is that the soul wants to show what is needed to be seen, recognized, or changed in order to materialize a different reality. What happens when we don't recognize these dysfunctional memories? Well, instead of going towards life, we deviate from the path to take two dysfunctional deviations. One towards madness, the other one towards death. I learned this from a master in systemic constellations. His name is Fernando Freitas, and that's what he would say. Madness is shown in conditions such as bipolarity, schizophrenia, Alzheimer's, and in other forms such as anxiety or even stress. Death is shown in matters such as suicide, addiction, or disease. The function of these conditions or matters is to show what needs to be healed in the system. There is a tendency to reject or resist what seems to be challenging or dysfunctional in our lives. But the more I resist, the more I attract. And as crazy as it seems, these dysfunctions are our allies, our friends that can guide us to see what we need, what we must heal. To solve the dysfunction, we must release the unresolved memories and organize our system again so that everything can flow in order, in harmony, and in balance. Now let's talk about family constellations, because this is the tool I found that really helped me put things in order, my plan in order, my life in order. Constellations or constellation means positioning, tidying up, like the stars. The constellations are in order. If there were no order in the cosmos, the planets and the stars will collide, collapse, creating chaos. Well, the same happens in our family system. Our family system has an order, and if it's not in order, it will create chaos, and it won't be able to flow naturally. Same thing. Family constellations are a solution-oriented therapy of a person's conflicts that are connected to their family system and that limits his or her possibilities of action and personal development. This affects not only the individual, but his family and therefore society. How can these memories of the past be resolved in a family constellation? Well, this is done through a representation of an image that is in order that resolves the morphic field in dysfunction. It is an experience that the person lives in a present moment. So it imprints a new memory at a cellular level. This new memory creates a new resonance in the field of that person's family system. The effect liberates not only the person, but the ancestors, as well as all the descendants. When the soul feels liberated, the mind gets aligned to the new change. From this new state, you can create more confidently the reality you want to experience. So how does the dynamic of a constellation work? There are different ways. We can do it in a group session or we can do a one-on-one session. In a group session, the person who is constellating asks the other participants to represent the members of his or her family system. The resonance of the morphogenetic field shows how the person's system is related to the conflict that he or she wants to solve. After recognition, we identify what's the problem or what's the matter. Some movements are made with the participants until all members of the family feel positioned in order and liberated. Also, when there is not possible to have a group, I do one-on-one sessions, and I use little wood figures to represent the members of the system. Okay, let's see what else. Constellation, very important. This is very important. Constellation they have three systemic laws: the law of belonging, the law of hierarchy, and the law of equilibrium. The law of belonging has to do with the inclusion. We all belong to the system or clan. There is a tendency to exclude or reject those members of the clan who are disapproved by society or in the family system because of their behaviors, because we don't agree on the way they behave, such as the criminals or the people that may be addictive, for example. And what happens here is that what is hidden or excluded is destined to come to light to belong. So as I said before, the more I resist, the more I attract. Because what it's looking for is to integrate, to belong again to the system. Therefore, some of the descendants of the clan identify with them, acting with similar behaviors or taking these behaviors because the excluded ones want to be integrated and accepted into the system. Okay, the second one is the law of hierarchy. We all have a position in the system. Conflict is created when the position of one of the members of the clan is replaced or missed, or when someone takes the position that doesn't belong to them. For example, a common case is the eldest son that takes the position of his absent father and ended up taking care of his mother and his siblings, for example. This eventually could create a lot of conflict in his personal life. Like, for example, establishing a future relationship with a partner, or at certain point taking extra responsibilities that don't belong to him. So it is necessary to honor the positions of each one. Also, there is an order of precedence and priority between the members that should be honored and respected to create balance among the members of the system. And the third one is the law of balance or equilibrium. We should not give more of what we have or take more of what we need. There is an order between giving and receiving. For example, the parents should give the children love, security, and eventually the freedom to go towards life. On the other hand, the children should only feel gratitude for the life by honoring the parents. When there is a disorder with this love, it creates conflict and burdens for the one that takes too much or for the one who gives too much. From the systemic angle, the children care about their parents. Usually, the children, for love, take the burdens of the parents. The question here is, are you assuming the responsibility of what you have to resolve? Or unconsciously, you are leaving that so they can resolve it for you? Our emotional issues, conflicts, fears, frustrations, and illnesses are also a legacy for our children when we don't resolve them. So, what I can say to conclude this part is that the best legacy for our children is the liberation of the unresolved conflict of their ancestors. Okay, let's talk a little bit about history. This therapy began in the 60s, starting from sociology that was already studying the transgenerational and the collective soul. Bert Hellinger integrated and developed this therapy based on family therapies such as the Gestalt, the primal therapy, the transactional therapy, the transgenerational, some concepts of psychology from Carl Jung and Freud, from the psychodrama and the sociology. Later, Hellinger developed the systemic laws that I just spoke about and gave birth to what we know today as family constellations. Okay, let me do a little summary so far so we can have it all clear in one little place. As I said before, we are all related to the memories of the past. When a conflicting memory happens, it is imprinted in our cellular memory, creating a morphic field. This field is timeless. The descendants enter in the resonance with the unresolved memories that are pulsing in the field, repeating unconscious stories of pain, suffering, and disease. Our ancestors failed to resolve their conflict, which is why those memories continue to click on our genetic code and pass from generation to generation until someone manages to resolve them. The descendants follow those invisible patterns that are unconscious, and we have the tendency to click to dysfunction and to the unhappiness of our ancestors. And so to say this, that is very important, is that we all came to serve and to heal the system. When we humbly put ourselves in the service of life and decide to heal our memories of the past, we can understand the cause of our experiences, liberate them, help to transcend the ancestors, and free our descendants so life can flow naturally and continue in a healthier way. Okay. Um, I'm not going to talk more about constellations. I just want to let you know that I'm sharing this because when I found constellations, I can say that I found a true and powerful tool of transformation. I have done many other types of healing therapies. You know, I'm also a life coach, and I also was a energy healer and therapist on many other um, lines of therapy and healing, holistic and wellness and nutrition and name it. But when I found constellations, I could finally liberate something that was very deep within me. And not that I didn't want to heal it. I actually could even recognize it, but I couldn't liberate it because it needs an experience. And when you live that experience, that is hard for me to explain in words, like I just did. I tried, but it is so hard to explain in the intellectual because the mind can understand. But when you live the experience, the soul liberates, and that makes a humongous difference. So if you are interested in identifying and liberating the unresolved memories of your ancestors, contact me. I work online through a video call or presential if you live in Orlando, or if you want to come visit me to the magical city of Orlando in Florida, welcome. I also offer group workshops on family constellations and also in a program that I have. If you are a leader and have a community that could be interested, I can come to your city. Contact me for more information too. If you want to go deeper, I do also analysis of the genealogical tree to recognize and liberate the repetitive patterns of the family system. That's also very awesome. To contact me, you can visit my website www.familytreeconstellations.com. Also, if you want to purchase your appointment, you can do it through the website. You can also find me in the social media as Maya Dari del Sol in Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Now, if you are out of the state, you can contact me through WhatsApp. My number is 1-321-900-5680, or email me at limitless@mayadaridelsol.com. What else? That's it. Thank you for listening, and I hope this information was useful to what you're looking to change in your life. Thank you so much.